and I'll let you know when we're gonna get started.
Okay.
So we are live on Facebook. Happy Sunday, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for another week of the Sunday Night Live, our talk, where we talk about everything motherhood. I'm so excited tonight. Tonight, we are going to be discussing finances. And so I have a group coaching program and I do one-on-one coaching. And, you know, one of the things that I talk about is the magic six. And what the magic six is 6 key areas in our life that we always need to find growth in, areas where we need to try to level up. One of those areas are finances, y'all. And I am no guru when it comes to finances. And so sometimes we have to reach out to other experts so that we can get the tools and the resources that we need. So I am so excited. Tonight, joining us, we have Jen J, and she is a financial guru, and she's going to be tips and some tools and some resources tonight so that we can learn as mothers to be able to navigate our finances. So Jen J, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm so excited. Can you tell our viewers a little bit about you?
Thank you so much, Tamika. This is Jen. I'm Jen. I'm a God lover. I have a husband of one, a tween that is always inventing and always creating. I have been doing, I love outdoors. That's who I am. I love helping people, volunteering, serving in my church. I love all things faith, family, friends, fun, freedom, and flexibility. That's just my values. So that's who I am in a nutshell. And I also, I coach. I'm a life and financial coach, helping people gain control over their life and money to leave a lasting legacy for generations to come. So that's just who I am in a nutshell. And I'm so thankful that you have me on the show talking about finances. I'm constantly learning. I tell people I'm a student as well. I'm not an expert because I'm still learning. I'm a lifelong learner, and I just love to learn all things new and good. So thank you for having me.
Oh, you are so welcome. And I agree with you about being a lifelong learner. And so all my clients, I'm going to always add value to like my programs and my resources and to your life, because I'm always learning. And so I agree with you there when it comes to be a lifelong learner. And so when it comes to finances, you know more than me though. Like I can tell you all day about time, organization, planning, self-care. If you need help on any of those topics, I'm your girl. But when it comes to finances, Jen, let me just tell you, I'm doing better, right? I'm doing better, but just real quick, I will share that I grew up in a environment where spending was that was the normal habit. And so I took those habits into adulthood and I would just spend until there was nothing left. And then I met this guy, my current husband. He's just like, this is not what we're doing. He believed in the bank account, the savings account, having some type of foundation and having some
yes.
And so I really learned, and that was a struggle. If I'm just being transparent, it was a struggle for me to really be able to learn how to manage my finances well. And like you say, I am still learning day by day. I've come a very long way. And if he was here, he would tell you, if he was on the live with us, he would tell you that I have come a long way, but there's always room for growth. And so that's why we have you on here tonight. You're going to help me, but you're going to be able to help the mothers around the world as well. And so we do have joining us tonight on Zoom, we have Sharice, Patricia, Harrisina, Danielle. Thank you all for joining us. And so if you want to join us, the link is in the caption. You're more than welcome to join us. So if you have live questions, you can join us live. Thank you, ladies, for joining us. And while we're going to jump right into this, Jen can give us those tips. Please share or tag another mom who you know needs help with finances. You know that mama friend you got where she's always helping at Kroger and Publix and TJ Maxx. Like, you need to tag her, share it with her so that she can learn about some of these tips tonight. And so, Jen, we're gonna hop right into it because we don't have a lot of time. And so, just like, what are some of the basic saving tips that you can tell us, or about managing our money? Like, what are some of the basic things that we can do for someone who's never done it before? What are some of the basic things we can start with?
Well, I would say the basic tips I think when I work with people, and the biggest thing is the budget. Like, that's number one. I mean, I don't even call it a budget because I feel it's constrained. So I say it's a spending plan because I'm planning to spend. So I'm planning to spend, I'm planning to save, I'm planning to give. So when I work with people, I transform the sort of typical accounting terms because people feel there's a lot of shame, there's a lot of judgment, there's a lot of, what I call money messages that we had from, when we were younger. So I transform those names into something that is meaningful to that person. Now, everyone I coach is so different. So it's a tailor-made design budget or spending plan or whatever that we use. One woman, talked about it was a transformation for her. So we name it a transformation journey. So it's that type, that level of, personalized service that I give to people. But let me tell you this. Food is the number one budget buster that I know that people struggle with, right? And so when I talk about food, I talk about, okay, if food is important to you, because I work with people around value, and this is a judgment-free session that I do because people have to feel safe in order to trust me. So when they come, I'm not advising them, I'm not telling them, I'm trying to get for them to realize, okay, what's important for you? What is priority for you? Most people, food is a big deal. And I'm a foodie too, right? I love food. I love to eat. So how do we then save money on that which you love and still have it at the same time? I mean, we could do two things at the same time. So I tell people, when you're shopping, and this is so basic, and you probably do this too, Jamaica, make a list before you go to the grocery shop. Make a list of the things, look in your pantry, and look at the things that you have already, right? Before you go into the grocery store, make a list, check it twice, and begin to bring a calculator with you. Now, people say, well, a list, I don't do a list, do an app, put a notebook. I have something in my phone, put a notebook, and then begin to shop where you value the most. For me, we eat gluten-free and organic. Now, that's expensive, but that's value to us. So we spend way more than we need to. However, it's our value, right? Prep, do couponing, eating out. Oh my goodness, the biggest budget buster is eating out. So for example, if you're eating out, if people say, I don't want to give up eating out, that's fine. So then how do we get both? How do we get cooking at home and eating out? Well, you can do that. You can do a 60-40. You can split. I tell people, use percentages. Okay, 60% of the time, I'm going to eat at home. 40% of the time, I'll eat out because it's important to me. I do not tell people what's important to them. They tell me what's important to them. And then we work the plan according to their design. Does that make sense?
It does, yes. Let me stop you real quick though, because you said a lot, and I want to go back and I want to make sure people are not just glossing over some of the stuff that you said. Number one, the first thing you said, you call it a spending versus a budget. I think people run when they're here budget, and so I love that. And then secondly, you mentioned that you customize it for them. You don't tell people, what to do with their money. You let them place value where they see fit. I love that. And so that makes me more comfortable and vulnerable to come with you and be able to share, because you are telling me, or you're helping me, you're guiding me, but you're allowing me to tell you where I place value. And like you said, you're not telling people, well, you don't need to eat out. You're just saying, let's divide it into some percentages. I love that. Thank you. Yes, that's awesome.
When it comes to continuing on, when it comes to shopping, You know, some people like buying in bulk. I know moms, if they have kids, one or more, buying in bulk works only for those things you need. I mean, that is the key. If you don't need it, you don't need 12 jars of mayonnaise, right? And in addition to that, when you compare the price, you know, people don't do price per unit cost. You know, they do, okay, what's the cost of that? Well, if you look closely at the price per unit, is it really a savings? If you compare that, BJ's or Sam's Clubs or Costco's, you got to use the price per unit cost, because then you're going to know if you're really saving money. Now, if you don't have a big family like myself, I have one child, but he eats like 10. You can buy in bulk and then share it with another mom. You know,
Ooh,
split the cost with a friend,
I love that
right?
idea. Awesome.
So then you get the value of buying in bulk if it makes sense, and if it does come out lower cost per unit, then you split the cost with a friend. You split the membership with a friend, you split the cost with a friend, you both save, and you
Yeah.
both have, you know, pantry full of things that only you need, right? Remember we talked about the 12 jars of mayonnaise. You don't need that. You might
Right.
be able to do 2 or 3, but you know, you know, some of the things just don't make sense to me with buying in bulk, but that's just me. I'm a
Yeah.
nerd when it comes to those kind of things. The other thing is, you know, driving, if Sam's Club is 100 miles away, or 80, I'm being, you know, very facetious, but if it's
Right.
100 miles away, it's not worth it. It's not worth the gas, the energy, the time, the effort. So just don't do it.
That makes sense. That makes
The other thing I say is save money by not buying. It does make sense, but people don't consider all of those, like what I call line item costs. They don't factor those things in. Or just because it's a Costco's, I'm going to drive, you know, 20, 50 miles to get it. Well, you're wasting money on energy, time, effort, you know, all those things. So those things have value, right? Again, we talk about what is valuable to you. Saving money by not buying foods that you won't eat. I mean, I could attest to this because I got delivered from shopping. I tell you, I borrowed my mother's personality. She loves to shop, and I love to shop too. And I love to shop for food. I don't typically shop a lot, but I love to shop for food. So I had that money message, that early money message at my refrigerator, my pantry had to be overflowing for me to feel good about myself or satisfied. That's not true. I bought things on sale that I thought, quote, I would use it. For example, I have all these gluten-free flours that I thought I'm just going to make some bread and some pastry. It's still sitting there a year later. So buy the foods that you know you will eat.
I love
Not
that.
buying exotic things or exciting. That's a waste of money because it's still sitting there, right? So just buy the things that you know you will eat, not the things that you won't eat. And just because it's on sale, get creative with leftovers. You know, leftovers, make it your best friend, right? You have kids, Shamika, so you know. I don't know if your kids like leftovers, but leftovers are a friend in our house.
Yes, I do know it. And I want to go back to something that you said just really quickly because it kind of stuck out to me.
Sure.
It feels good when we see that our cabinets are overflowing with like food, and you were talking about buying things in bulk that makes sense. And for me, like I would tell people, well, on a typical, because of COVID, it's a little bit different for me now, but typically I would go to like 3 different grocery stores. So I will go to Sam's for some of the things we need in bulk. There's no reason for, like you said, for me to buy 12 different, makes sense, right? And then I will go to Aldi's because they're really inexpensive. They have really inexpensive like fruit, produce. We love fruit, and I would still go to like Walmart or like a Kroger to get like the name, some of the well-named brand stuff, like spaghetti sauce and stuff like that. My family is like, do not buy the Aldi spaghetti sauce anymore. And so it, like you said, it makes sense not to just try to get everything from Sam's and have all this big, large amount of stuff. So that was the first thing you mentioned. I want to make sure everybody heard that. And then that if it's miles and miles away, you're still spending in gas. So it doesn't make sense for you to go all the
back to the cost.
You can just a local grocery store. Oh, I love that. One of the last things I wanted to mention, I want to make sure people heard this very clearly. When you say it makes you feel good when you have a pantry or cabinets just overflowing with food. And I wonder, does that go back to our childhood for some of us when we didn't have things in the pantry and we didn't have things in the refrigerator? And so now it's a sense of security to have that stuff there when really you're not using it. And so you're wasting money. So that was a really, really good point. Thank you for bringing that out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can't tell you how many, and I'm talking about me. I talk about myself first. I can't begin to tell you how many times I threw out, veggies and stuff because it just sat there because I needed to have a full refrigerator to make myself feel whole, and so I work with people around the early money story, money messaging, all of that stuff. We work on healing those money wounds and those money messages that we get, that we either learn or we did or we picked up. More is caught than taught, right? And so, I consider myself a foodie, but now, because I had a money coach and I worked with that money coach on some really deep-seated money issues that I had, I could look back now and say, wow, that there was a lot going on there, right? And so now I've transformed, my money messages. I've made it into something different, new, transformative, so that I'm able to begin to walk the journey with my clients. So a big part of the work that I do initially is beginning to shine the light on those money messages that we have, and believe it or not, it's subconscious. It's locked away in a file that we don't even know we're operating in it, right? It's early. It's not even something that we figure it out because we're just behaving in a way that is, wait a minute, this story is, oh, why do I need a full refrigerator of food? It's just 3 of us, why do I need all these different foods that I don't even eat? So being mindful, being present, being purposeful around why you're spending, how you're spending, when you're spending. Sometimes it's that time of the month that you're spending. Sometimes it's a memory, it's a feeling, it's all of these subconscious somatic things that I do around money. It's not just, I don't consider myself an accountant. I just think it's so boring. Sorry for all the accountant friends that are out there, but I just think money should be fun and creative, and that's why my program is designed in a way that's fun, creative, playful, easy, non-judgmental, all the things that I wished somebody had helped me to see money. Money is just a tool. It's a tool to do creative things with. And so we get to play with it, but we have to heal our money story. So if we don't heal that story, then our beliefs and our biology will interrupt and show our behavior. See, money is not the issue. That's not the issue. It's the beliefs that under the money that's causing our behavior to act as if it was so. So it's a mindset around money. So I say get creative with money, get creative with food, get creative with leftovers, mix wraps, soups, bowls, omelets, pizza toppings, quesadilla with turkey, whatever you want to make it with. Just get creative. I get creative by buying frozen. People say, well, I don't want any frozen. I get creative by buying frozen. I make my own smoothies, my soups, my chili, and I freeze it. I batch it. Sunday is a day for me to prep, plan, batch, because my week is crazy. I do not want to be running to the store in the week. And I hear you talking about that too on your blog, running to the store or say, oh my goodness, we do run out of this. No. Sunday is, I earmark a time to say, okay, I'm putting on a podcast to learn on my headset while I cook, while I prep, while I do a smoothie, while I do a soup. So I do 2 things in one, I get it done. And I save money.
That is so awesome. So one of the things you mentioned, I've never been like a meal prep person, but I do meal plan, and I do it every single Sunday, like you mentioned. And I teach all of my clients how to do a Sunday meal plan for sure. And so what I do, like you said in the beginning, don't even go to the store without a list. You're going to end up spending way more money than you plan to. And so you know how you go into Walmart, or you go into the grocery store, you're only going to pick up 3 things, but then you end up having 10. I got tired of being the person where it's like, I'm going crazy week, got to get the kids soccer practice, only got like 30 minutes to cook, open up the cabinet, think I'm going to make something, all there out there. So that's what really, really prompted me into planning. And so literally every Sunday, I write out the menu for every single meal for the week. I'm talking breakfast, lunch, after school, dinner, a grocery, and I put it together. And I do this. All my clients do the same thing, because one of the biggest things that it helps you do, like it helps you track, you move efficiently, effectively all throughout the week. You're not like stressed out. It helps stress management. It helps maximize your time. I can go on and on and on. But the topic that we're on today, it helps with the most. My husband loves, we stay on budget. And so he loves that I'm not overspending, because I do that meal prep, or that meal plan, I should say, every week. So that's so awesome. Those like really, really great tips. And so if we never budgeted before, like for a mom who's never ever seen a budget, never thought about budgeting, they're scared away. So that's why you're calling this plan. Like, how can we get started with just like some basic budgeting strategies or tips?
Okay. So basically is a spending, I will use budget in your case because this is your platform, but a budget is just telling your money what to do. Like, you are the boss of your budget. Your budget is not the boss of you. I mean, that's number one. So people get overwhelmed because they feel like, oh my goodness, my money is just sending it on its own. No. You tell your money what to do. You on paper, on purpose, and to begin to document your income, that thing that's coming in, all your income sources from everywhere that you're getting income, business income, earned income, fixed income, retirement income. When income is coming in, even gifts that are coming in, put it all down. People use an app. You can use a notebook. You can use debit card if that's the only way you shop. Cash, whatever. All the income sources on one end. I created my own. I'm a nerd when it comes to Excel. I had created my own. It became so complicated. My husband's like, "This is enough. We can't do this." So then we started using an app, which is, you can get it anywhere. So I say use an app that may be simple, or use a notebook, very simple, or Excel or Google Sheets. But get a place where you can say income, jot down all my income on one side, and then list all your expenses, including your debt, right? So debt and household expenses are two different things, right? So debt is what you owe, a student loan, car loan, mortgage, any debt. And then expenses are household expenses, what I need, personal, toiletries, those things. So those two things go in two columns, right? An Excel spreadsheet is great because you can plug in all the numbers, and then it does all the calculation for you. It tells you if you're in the red or in the black, or where you're coming over it. So I like a pre-made plan already. But if somebody is opposed to that, they can just use the pen and paper, and you're gonna have to do all the calculations. So that becomes tedious, right? You don't want to do that. And there's so many platforms out there that's easy to use. So that's one thing. So you're writing a list, your income and expenses and your debt. Here's the part where I lose people. You ready?
Yeah.
Track your expenses for at least 30 days. That's called a money diary. Just I'm noting everything that I spend money on, because I want to begin to look at it. If we don't look at something, it's not even there. It's, it's out of sight, out of mind. But when I write something down, there's a power in writing things down. Your brain shifts when you do something and you write it down. It's transformational.
Yes, I agree.
Transformational. So, writing all your household income and expenses, tracking your expenses for at least 30 days to get just a baseline of, okay, where's my money going? Right? Where is it going? It's coming in, but it's going out. But where is it going? If I'm not mindful, it's going everywhere else except where I want it to go. So track expenses for 30 days. Every month is different. So you have to tweak, trim, and track. That's what I say. Tweak, trim, and track, because you're going to get to a place where it takes about 90 days. In my limited experience, it takes about 90 days to have a real, what I call a financial snapshot of what you spend on, because you can't get it in 30 days. 30 days is just a baseline, but it takes about 90 days to really get a picture of, okay, wow, I'm spending this much on food, or wow, I didn't even know we were spending that much on that. So you get a sense of an average. So the 90 days is just to get an average. And then every month is different. Every month is different. But some of the things that you want to begin to track are needs. Needs are those basic things that you need: housing, you need food, you need
Yeah.
utilities, you need transportation. Those are some of the basic needs. And then everything else are what I call wants, or what I call variables. Variables are things that shift. I don't go to the dentist every month, or I don't go to the doctor. I don't have a copay every month. Those are things that change, right? So the fixed needs, the variable needs, the fixed wants, the variable wants, and I go a step further where I tell people to create a future budget. That's when they go past the 90 days. Create a future budget. Okay, I don't have vacation now, but I want to take a vacation. So how do I then prepare for that? Here's what you do. When you track your budget, you will see where I call money leaks are going, leaks in your budget. Then you can begin to transfer some of those leaks into what it is that you want in the future. See, that's a goal that you want to have. So future budgeting, which is something that I, when people go through the program and I take them through that, and then they're excited because they can have future planning, but that takes a while. It takes some time, right?
That's awesome. So
start with
I just gonna say it real quickly. One of the things that you mentioned that I love was you said the money diary, tracking how much you spent for 30 days, but then really the money snapshot is the whole 90 days. Well, this is really the reality of all of it. And I know me and my husband, we're on the journey right now to become debt free. And we had to do the money diary as well. It wasn't called money diary, but I love your call it. And so one of the areas that we realized we were spending, I love food, but it wasn't food. We were kind of on track with don't really eat out a lot, but in utilities, we found that we were able to lower car insurance, to go different places for insurance policy, like life insurance and stuff like that. And so we found out we would spend cell phone bills, that internet bill. And so those particular things we were way too much money in. So I love how you mentioned that, you talk about that for sure.
Yeah. And, if you have a family, I would involve the kids in planning. I mean, kids are now, I want it now. I can't wait. My son's birthday is coming up, and imagine his birthday is a month away, but he wants us to buy the gift today. And I'm like, this is not your birthday, brother. So we're going to wait until we get there for your birthday gift. But adults, they have the ability to wait, to have the patience to wait. And so I tell people, if you're saving for something, that's a discipline that you build in yourself, to wait to get that thing. It will come. It is, the store is not burning down or hopefully going out of business, but whatever it is, there's 10 of them in another store. And I used to be of that opinion where, there's a sale. Oh my goodness, the world is going to end if I don't get that sale, which got me into a lot of trouble in the future, in the past. But I say to them, the sale, going out of business, 50% off. If you don't get it today, it's gone tomorrow. All of that, behind the scenes, stores, I didn't even know this. I'm taking a couple of neuroscience classes, and the stores behind the scenes are hiring psychologists to begin to monitor people's behavior. So it goes back again to behavior, beliefs, beliefs and biology and behavior. So if you don't manage your money, the stores will manage it for you. Just keep that in mind. And they are not going to give you any bit of it.
Wow, that's deep. I'm glad that you went there, because with the holidays coming up, what advice could you give us on not spending? Everybody wants to go out on Black Friday, then they have Cyber Monday. And I'm not telling people not to do it, but if we have money problems, we probably should. And so what advice can you give us with all that coming on? Give us a few tips to be able to help us through the holidays. Because, holiday shopping is connected to holiday shopping. And so we have those habits based on the emotion that maybe we're missing a loved one, don't have a loved emotion. So I'm going to let you talk a little bit more about that. Tell us what we can do through the
holiday shopping is, again, the budget buster, but it doesn't have to be. December comes every year at the same time. We know that, right? So
Right.
our goal is to begin to plan a year in advance. If you haven't, make a list of who, what, why, how, and where. Of who you want to buy for, what, why, how, and where. Decide on a Christmas amount that you want to spend. Create a Christmas savings club within your account if you can make that happen. Decide, okay, do I want to take up special sale days, Cyber Monday, Amazon Prime Day, free shipping, holiday sale, clearance, open box, fly? I mean, compare prices online. You don't have to go to 10 stores anymore, right? In order to compare prices. And by the way, avoid guilt giving or money message buying. Example, oh, because I get a gift, I have to give a gift. Or when I was young, I didn't get any gifts. So I want Johnny to experience that feeling or give him more than he wants, right? So I can feel good. So avoid those kind of gift giving situations because it gets you into trouble.
Yeah.
Consider the Secret Santa or the Yankee swap. For me, I like gifts that are experiential. That's because my love language is, one-on-one, buy gifts according to people's love language, right?
Mhm.
Handmade gifts are beautiful. Maybe somebody wants a cooking class or a baking class, do it
I like.
together as if you're a friend of that person. But,
Mhm.
get a favorite outing together. I mean, gifts doesn't have to be expensive, lofty, or anything. If you're struggling to buy gifts, which is where a lot of single mothers, feel that tinge,
Mhm.
maybe only buy one gift for the kid and do something like a coupon, say, oh, I'll take you and I will connect together over a movie, maybe do half coupon and maybe do one small gift for the
Love it.
child. So create meaning and value around that relationship if you have kids that are, listen, we're going through a pandemic, like a global one, right? Millions
Right.
of people have lost their jobs. People understand. Give the gift of time. Give thoughtful gifts that match with people's love language and compare, compare, compare. But can I just say this? Give the gift of yourself. And I know that sounds kind of cheesy, but I much prefer a friend to spend some time, that's just me, quality time with me than giving
Mhm.
me a sweater. I'm just saying, so consider the person, consider the fact that if they're a friend, they'll understand, listen, it's a hard time right now.
Yeah.
My job got laid off, I got laid off, or consider honest conversations with people that you care about, and that beginning to have those meaningful times, not just one time a year, but all throughout the year, that connection with them, to me, is the best gift you can give to me.
That
Um,
is awesome.
there's
Awesome.
so much more I could say, but I'm just
I know. See, I feel like you can go on for on and on and on, which is really good because we need to hear this stuff. So we definitely have to have you back. But one of the things you mentioned about the gift giving, you said use their love language. And so I never thought of it that way. But like you said, like with you love quality time. And so if I had a friend that loved quality time, me just saying, hey girl, we're gonna have this girls' day or night or weekend. I believe that they will really looking at the person's love language. I think that's really, really good. I know for me, I grew up where there was like gifts to you couldn't see the floor anymore under the tree. And so, of course, when yeah, of course, when I became a mom, I wanted to do the same thing for my kids. I wanted to wake up and be happy. But then I started realizing, me and my husband were like, okay, they're only playing with these gifts for a couple days. And so we got wiser. So I want to share this idea with everyone. We do what we used to do, the Craddock 5 gifts of Christmas, where you will get something you need, you want, something to give away to somebody else, something to read, and something to wear. So those 5 things we will give them. So
nice.
5 gifts on Christmas, but really 4 because one they will give away. And so it had to be sentimental. Like,
Right.
one, my daughter wanted to find like a homeless little girl and give her a baby doll. And so we were doing that. Now that they're a little bit older, my kids 13 and 10, we do like not experiments, but I don't know why I can't think of the word, but we go like out of town or
Right,
things like
right.
so experiences is what I was looking for. And so
That's
now
right.
that
Yes.
because it's going to be much more, they're going to remember it. It's going to be much more memorable.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
value there. So I love
What a
everything that
value.
thank you so much. And so if anybody have any of the questions, I definitely want you to go ahead and put them in the chat box before we get off tonight for Jen, so that I can read the questions to her, so that I can make sure. If you have joined me, I have so many moms that joined me tonight. Thank you all so much for joining me live on Zoom. So put in the chat box two things I want you to put. If you have any questions for Jen before she leaves, because she is telling us how to get our money together, mamas. And so we need to take advantage of this while we have. So if you have any questions, and then the next thing I want you to do is, if you can drop in the comment box what was very good for you. What value did you walk away with today? What do you love that she said? What have you learned? Let us know as well what you have learned. And so, Jen, the first question is, what if someone does not have time on the weekends, maybe working a second job? Any tips or tricks in planning meals?
So, for me, I'm not an all or nothing. I am like, do what you can. So I say, if you don't have any time to plan the meal, what percentage of meal planning or prep would you like to do? Start with 10% of planning. So for example, set a timer and put, you have some time during the day to plan maybe one meal, and start with that. If you don't have any time on the weekend, but you have time during the week, so take advantage of the time that you do have and begin to start with incremental baby steps to get to that place where you do have more time. But prepping, planning, prioritizing them, if that's the value for you. If not, some people just don't like doing that.
Yeah.
But if it's a value for you, I would say use the time that you have. Even it doesn't have to be on weekend. Like, it doesn't have to. I work during the week. I have a full-time job. I work during the week. So for me, weekend is the time when I have to do shopping, prepping, planning. But if it's during the week for you, or if you said you have two jobs, find maybe a time after the kids go to bed and say, okay, I'm going to spend an hour and I'm just going to maybe do the batter and freeze it, or, do whatever, make the whatever batter and then just freeze it. So I have at least that. So at least you feel accomplished at least you've done something to prep for the, does that make sense? To prep for the meal. You don't have to do like 100%, just do small and begin to incrementally work up to that, if that's your value.
Yeah. So I agree with you definitely. So making sure everyone that's listening know that there's a difference between prepping and planning. So the prepping is actually cutting up the vegetables, like you said, making the all seasoning the meat, freezing it, and all that. Planning is simply just you and then creating a grocery list. And so, Sharice, if your question is about planning, you should be able to do planning no more than about 22 minutes to an hour when you first begin. The more you start doing it, the less time it will take. For me, it takes about 15 minutes now for me to do like a meal plan for the week. Prepping, same thing Jen said. I have clients who actually do the meal prepping or planning, and I do Sundays, but they don't do Sundays. What I would say is just to choose whatever is busiest your week and use that particular time.
Best for you.
Yeah, look into your schedule, see what's the least busiest for you. Use that time to either meal plan or prep or delegate. Do you have someone else in your household who can help
That's
you
right.
plan? Maybe you shop, but maybe that person. So that's another suggestion as well. So I hope that really answers. She said, wonderful, thank you. And so Danielle says, thank you. She's going to be working on her money diary. Patricia says, thank you. Lots of great information and tips. Harristina says, this was very enlightening. Value the time we are together. We are doing a trip together. No gifts, but the gift of time. Same thing for Christmas for us. Like I said, when our kids got older, we decided
that's nice.
experiences versus like all the gifts and stuff like that. So I don't know if you have any parting words with us, but I would like to thank everyone who joined me on here tonight. Thank you so much for all the moms who joined me. And so I am here every Sunday night at 9 p.m. I also go live on Facebook. Now, the difference, mamas, is when you're live on Facebook, we can't see all your question and comments right away. I can't see it until I end. And so if you want to come on live, you want to be able to put comments in the chat box, you want to come on live and be able to speak, please join me. It's absolutely free. You just have to register so that you can get a private link. We don't want like any of those crazy Zoom people that have been messing up all the Zoom calls lately with us using all this technology. So absolutely free. Just register. Join us each and every Sunday. And so Bernadette said, thank you. Harristina said one of the things prep is key for her. It makes a difference in the household. It was great money management. And then Phoebe, I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing the name correctly, says very practical. So she thank you. And I thank you as well so much, Jen. I would love to have you on again because like you said, you have so much to share. It was very beneficial. I'm sure that our moms watching got a lot out of it. And so do you have any parting words, anything you would like to leave with us?
Well, I was going to say start small. You know, my program, you know, that I created, I really wanted to meet people where they are. And so it's called Tiny Steps to Success. You don't have to start big. You don't have to start extensive or expensive. Just start basic and begin to build. It's almost like building a house. You got to start from the ground up. And so if you've never budgeted before, just do one thing. Just do one thing to get you to that place. And that builds momentum. It creates motivation and encouragement. And then like me, I've been doing it for so long, it's now just like breathing. But it just takes starting. And I think once you start, you get that momentum and then you continue. And then you get other mamas to hold you accountable or buddies or whatever, your husband, whoever. But you know, I was intending to start an Ask Me Anything program on my Facebook page on November 1st, but I'd like to start it early. So if any of you have any other remaining questions, just check me out on Jen Inspiring Coach. Feel free to post your question on my page and I'll be happy to answer it for you. If you have private questions, please message me. I can set up a complimentary session time. I'm going to leave tips and tricks and tools on my web and my Facebook page, you know, in the coming weeks, so people could understand how to save, budget, and get holiday ready for their life and family.
Yes, I love it. Thank you so much. So if you can repeat again where everybody can find you. I know you mentioned Facebook. Where is there anywhere else, or is Facebook where they can find you so they can get all those tips, tricks, and tools that you have for money management?
Yes, so I'm also on WhatsApp, you know, 781-691-3726. WhatsApp, Jen Inspiring Coach there. And I'm also, I have a blog that I come out every 2 weeks. I'm going to put tips on there now that the holiday season is coming up and people are struggling. I mean, this is a struggling time for people. So inspiringcoach.com, that website. But everything is on Facebook. That's where my folks hang out. And that's where, you know, folks are just trying to get information to do good with their money. And that's okay.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for having me, Tramika. This was great. I follow your blog and I'm getting so many tips from your blog as well. So thanks.
Oh, thank you so much for connecting. We must do this again. Again, thank you so much for coming on and sharing. Thank you to all my mamas who came on to Zoom with us live as well. Thank you to everyone who is watching on live or watching the replay. You all have a productive week. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us.
Thank you so much. Take
You're
care.
welcome. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining. Take care. Bye-bye.